Hi my dears, today we are going to discuss the transport of oxygen in the humans. Transport of oxygen in the humans, what's going on? Transport oxygen, they can enter into the human trachea. Okay, first human can inhale the oxygen, inhale the gas, but where it has to reach after inhale? Lungs. From the lungs they can reach blood, from the blood they can reach tissue. Tissue use oxygen, and the breakdown food particle, food mean glucose, break down glucose and release ATP. This is going to happen in the transport of oxygen in the human. How it is transport, we will going to discuss. How oxygen move from lungs to the cell. So here from the lungs to cell, how they can move. Okay, this is first step. Lungs and blood vessels are illustration. Mean here lungs and blood vessel, what is the relation? Okay, they can first, how they can reach lungs to cell mean tissue, it is first initial they can reach blood before the tissue. Yeah, oxygen is essential for life. Obviously you know oxygen is the essential for life because they can give the energy from the food. From the food they can give the energy. With the help of oxygen only our food is converted into the energy. If there is no oxygen, there is no energy from the food. Okay, yes, it is help producing energy inside our cells. Okay, of course inside cells only. Guys, just look at this. This is the cell. This is the cell. From the lungs, this is the lungs. Okay. Yeah, I'll give you the complete strategy here. This is the cell. And this is lungs. There is a lungs sacs, alveoli sacs are there in the lungs. There are number of alveolus or bags are there in the lungs. Once oxygen enter into the lungs alveolus, it is filled with oxygen. Alveolus are the filled with oxygen. This oxygen can reach blood vessel. This is the blood. Oxygen can reach the blood. This is the blood vessel. In the blood vessel there is a blood is there, blood cells. RBCs are there. These are the blood cells, RBCs. The oxygen can reach this blood cell. Oxygen can reach this blood cell. This blood cell has the hemoglobin. They can catch the oxygen and they can carry this from the blood vessel. This hemoglobin carry oxygen into cell, finally cell. Oxygen can reach cell. In every organ in our body, oxygen can reach the cell of every organ from the blood. Okay, yeah, if oxygen once reach in the cell, what happened? The food also can reach cell in the form of glucose. Simple form of food they can reach through the blood. This is also glucose also they can reach through the blood into the cell. Finally, they can reach cell. So, glucose plus this oxygen combined, this glucose break down by the oxygen to release energy, ATP, the energy form ATP and CO2 as waste product they can release. Got it? Where CO2 produced here, this CO2 also eliminate through this blood only, and they can finally reach CO2 lungs. From the lungs, they can exit out CO2. Oxygen enter in, CO2 exit out from the lungs. This is we can call breathing. Oxygen enter into the lungs, mean inhale the oxygen and exit the carbon dioxide. Exhale the carbon dioxide we can call breathing. From the lungs and blood, there is a exchange of oxygen enter into the blood and carbon dioxide exit from the blood. This is called diffusion. Diffusion. This is the diffusion we can call external respiration. External respiration. Once oxygen reach blood from the alveolus and carbon dioxide reach out from the blood to the alveoli, and from the blood they can reach this cell, oxygen they can reach cell and carbon dioxide they can reach out from the cell. This is the place between the blood vessel and tissue, cell or tissue, anything you can call cell. Between the blood and cell, there is a exchange called internal respiration. Internal respiration. Here, external respiration between the lungs and blood, internal respiration between the blood and cell. Once oxygen reach cell, there is a breakdown of glucose in the presence of oxygen called cellular respiration. Cellular respiration. This is all our scenario. There is a oxygen can carry forward into the cell, finally reach the cell. Okay, this is about scenario. Okay, I hope you guys understand this. Yes, next. Here, did you understand the help in producing energy inside the cell? The process moving oxygen from the lungs to the cell is called oxygen transport. From the lungs to cell, oxygen transport. And here, yeah, breathing versus respiration. What is breathing? What is respiration? Nothing but breathing is taking oxygen into lungs, and giving out CO2 from the lungs. The oxygen enter, inhale, okay, we can take the oxygen and exit out CO2, mean exhale CO2. That is called breathing. Respiration, cellular respiration is what? In the cell, this is cell, the oxygen used, glucose breakdown, oxygen used, release ATP and CO2. Okay, using oxygen for the production of energy cells we can call cellular respiration. What is respiration? What is breathing? Breathing nothing but there is a exchange of gas which is carbon dioxide and oxygen, that is breathing. The respiration is what? The breaking the food particle to release energy. Food particle nothing but the simple food particles, either glucose or like amino acids. Like these simple production, they can break down in the presence of oxygen, especially glucose. They can give the energy. Yes. And next, 1 minute. Just a minute. Yeah, this is about transport of oxygen. Who can carry the oxygen? In the blood cell, there is a RBC. In the RBC, there is a hemoglobin. In the RBC, there is a hemoglobin, they can carry oxygen. Okay? Yeah, in the blood, there is a blood cells called RBC. In the RBC, there is a pigment called hemoglobin. There is no nucleus in the RBC because of there is a space allocated for the oxygen in the form of hemoglobin. That's why there is no like cells in the RBC. There is no nucleus in the RBC. Just a moment. Yes, here just look into this. Yeah, pathway of oxygen transport, how it is going to take place. Yes, pathway of oxygen. So, inhalation, first oxygen enter into the lungs. First oxygen enter into the lungs. First, yeah. They enter into the lungs first, the transport of oxygen. From the lungs, they can reach blood. Oxygen move into the blood. Okay, there is a blood vessel, they enter into the lungs, right? This is the blood vessel directly connected to the lungs. The oxygen can reach the blood vessel, blood. And the blood, they can reach the cell. Blood carries oxygen into the cells. Finally, they can reach body cells. These are the body cells. Any organ in your body, this oxygen reach. Yes, oxygen reach all over cells in your body. Any organ that can be reached, oxygen reach. What happened? Cell break down the food particle release energy. In any organ, any body cells, they can break down food and release energy. Okay? Yes, this is what about pathway of oxygen. Next, role of hemoglobin. This is the blood cell RBC. In the RBC, there is a hemoglobin. Hemoglobin has 4 molecular chain. This is 2 alpha chain and this is 2 beta chain. And hemoglobin has, there is 2 parts. One is head part and one is tail part. Tail is globin chain, head is heme. And one question is there, which part of hemoglobin carry oxygen? Head part carry oxygen. This oxygen they can bind in the hemoglobin head part only, not tail part of the hemoglobin. That can be carry oxygen into the tissue. So hemoglobin is a red pigment in the RBC, red cells, RBC. Each hemoglobin molecule can carry 4 oxygen molecules. Because of 4, there is a alpha chain, beta chain, right? 4 hemoglobins molecules here, they can carry 4 oxygen molecules, 4 chains. They can carry each chain 1 oxygen, mean 4 chains, 4 oxygen molecules they can carry. Yes, and it binds the oxygen lungs and release the tissue. Actually, first they can reach the lungs, right? In the lungs, hemoglobin bind with oxygen in the lungs. And after they can reach tissue, they can release oxygen from the hemoglobin in the tissue. So, they can catch oxygen particle, hemoglobin they can catch oxygen particle in the lungs and that can be reached finally into the tissue, right? The oxygen can release, hemoglobin the oxygen release in the tissue. Yes. And next, oxygen transport steps. First, oxygen enter into the alveoli, this is lungs. Alveolus mean lungs, that is air sacs of the lungs called alveolus. Okay, first they can catch alveolus, just see here, oxygen enter into the alveolus and diffuses into the blood capillaries. The next step, they enter into the blood cells, binds with hemoglobin RBC. Yeah, here they binds with oxygen with hemoglobin and travels through the bloodstream. They can traverse through the bloodstream. Finally, they can release in the tissue. Finally, they release at the tissue. Yeah, first look into this. Oxygen they can enter from the mouth, external nostrils, enter into the lungs. In the lungs, there is a alveolar sacs. The oxygen enter into the alveolar sac. From the alveolus, they can reach blood, the process called diffusion. From the blood is everywhere in the body, they can reach each cell, so that blood carry the oxygen. In the blood, there is a hemoglobin, they can carry oxygen into the every tissue, every cell. So in that cell, they can release oxygen and back, they can catch the carbon dioxide into the lungs, same pathway. Yes, this is what going to take place, involvement of steps of oxygen transport. Next, summary of this class, use simple diagram. Okay, you can use the simple diagram, which is first they can reach lungs and in the lungs there is a alveolar sac, they can reach from the alveolar sac, this is the blood vessel, they can reach blood vessel. In the blood vessel, there is a blood cell, they can reach. From the blood cell, finally, they can reach tissue. this is the tissue cells. Yes, this is the diagram, simple diagram. And first lungs to blood, blood to heart, heart to body cells, and RBC hemoglobin carries oxygen. First, yeah, this is a blood, nothing but heart. They can reach heart. From the heart to tissue they can reach. Yes. Yeah, key points in this. Oxygen transport is essential for the energy. Without oxygen there is no energy. Hemoglobin helps the carry the oxygen efficiently. Yeah, this is important. Hemoglobin, who carry hemoglobin, they can carry oxygen efficient manner. Lungs, blood and cells work together, of course. Okay. Yes. Guys, this is all over the simple way oxygen, where they can start to bind hemoglobin, where they can deliver. One hemoglobin they can carry 4 oxygen molecules, where they can bind in the lungs and where they can release in the tissue. Okay. This is all about the transport of oxygen. Thank you.